When we talk about sustainability in Malama Aina, we have to remember that we are the most isolated group of islands on planet Earth. We have a unique and fragile ecosystem that is at risk, and we ship in 85% of what we consume, which leaves us highly vulnerable to outside influences.
How do we preserve what's best about this place? Right now, one of our biggest problems is how much money we send out. We send out like $5 billion a year to buy food and fuel from other places. You know, some of that we could get here. And everything we got here, every food we got here, every fuel we got here, is money not leaving our economy that we don't have to balance by bringing in more tourists or outside money to make it add up.
Right now, Hawaii imports 95% of its energy and 75% of our food. We've reached a tipping point in our society. We can no longer begin to live like we have. We are bankrupting not only ourselves financially, but I think culturally as well, by depending upon outside sources of energy or food or things like that, and forgetting about living in concert with the environment. We have all got to get together and figure out what is it we're trying to do with the land and the community and those things that we love that are around us, and make sure that they survive for generations.
We live on islands, yeah, but we act like we live on continents. It's a huge challenge, and it's a mindset and a mind frame that has shifted peoples who grew up thinking and having generations of thinking and acting and living as islanders. A lot of times people come here, and instead of appreciating and trying to contribute towards perpetuating that island way, you want to enjoy it, but you still maintain and think and act like somebody from a large expanse. You kind of forget. So we import 90% of what we eat. We use land as if it's endless. We're not asking ourselves a pretty tough question, which is, what kind of island do we want to be? There's plenty of examples of islands, and we figured out that we can engineer our island in many different ways. But what is our vision? And what is that? What values are those visions based on? And I think we've forgotten that we have those values and that history and that knowledge within us, or at least within our communities.
If we understand that in a larger sense, you know, in that saying of hewa'a, he moku hewa'a, the canoe is an island and the island a canoe. We have to remember that we live on an island, that we have limited resources, but yet the resources that we have here can sustain our communities. But we have to remember that we have to care for those resources. And in remembering that, we can't just remember it, once every month, but we have to remember it every day, make it a part of our lifestyle.
This rediscovery of values and culture has played a significant role in fueling this movement through schools, charter schools, and community organizations. It's time for the rest of us to get involved and find our place to contribute.
It starts with the idea that nobody's going to solve our problems, you know. It's actually, to me, people who think government will solve the problems, or the free market will solve the problems, or technology is going to solve the problems, that's pie in the sky to me, right? Because really, we have to solve our own problems. And if we don't band together and do that, then us thinking that they will somehow miraculously be solved is deluded.
I wanna turn the whole thing upside down.
One of Hawaii's most popular entertainers has chosen to make a stand and do something about our environment by bringing awareness and educating our children. Jack Johnson is one of the most famous people to come out of Hawaii in recent years. His latest CD was #1 in Europe and in the United States within 5 days, and he holds the record for downloads on iTunes. The Kokua Hawaii Foundation, founded by Jack and his wife Kim, have been one of the most effective organizations in Hawaii educating our young people about the need for us to reduce, reuse, and recycle.
We got 3 hours we're gonna talk about today. We gotta learn to reduce, reuse, recycle. Reduce, reuse, recycle. Well, if you go into the market to buy some juice, you gotta bring your own bags and you learn to reduce your waste. We gotta learn to reduce. Gotta learn. And if your brother or your sister's got some cool clothes, you can try them on before you buy some more of those. Reuse. We gotta learn to reuse. And if the first two R's don't work out, and if you gotta make some trash, well, don't throw it out. Recycle. We gotta learn to recycle. We gotta learn to reduce, reuse, recycle. Reduce, reuse, recycle.
Whenever there's a problem in society, the best way to deal with that problem is tackling it on an educational level. Otherwise, a lot of times it's kind of like putting Band-Aids on things. You know, you're just kind of trying to cover up the problem, put the fire out, but it just keeps on popping back up here and there. But when you go all the way back to the kids, and you start working, you know, as early as elementary or preschool kids, even if you can, if it's a topic that works with them, then you change the course of history. You know, you start talking to kids and educating them, and you can wipe out a problem.
The day before the wildly popular Kokua Festival, the foundation hosts the children and schools who have done the most to give back to their communities.
Working with kids that were elementary school 5 years ago, and then getting to meet some of those same kids that are starting up clubs at their high school and things like that, or coming out to volunteer at the festival. And, you start to really see that when you work with kids, it really changes how it is for the next generation.
Jack's mega hit, Upside Down, that he wrote for the Curious George soundtrack, tells us nothing is impossible, and no matter what people tell us, we can accomplish anything if we try.
So this one is called Upside Down. It's kind of just a song about what we were talking about, really. When you learn something and you're inspired and you want to share that with other people. So kind of trying to continue to learn throughout life, really is what the song's about.
Who's to say what's impossible they forgot? This world keeps spinning and with each new day I can feel the change in everything. And as the surface breaks, reflections fade, but in some ways they remain the same. And as my mind begins to spread its wings, there's no stopping curiosity. I wanna turn the whole thing upside down. I'll find the things they say just can't be found. I'll share this love I find with everyone. We'll sing and dance to Mother Nature's songs. I don't want this feeling to go away.
Realizing you always have something to learn is an important thing. I have parents all the time, I'll go to the market or something and I'll say, man, you got my kid, he's just the recycling Nazi now. Like, he's totally making us recycle at home, you know, like I can't go to the store without bringing my own bags and stuff like that. When you teach kids something, they go on to teach it better than anybody.
Who's to say I can't do everything, well, I can try. And as I roll along, I begin to find things aren't always just what they seem. I wanna turn the whole thing upside down. I'll find the things they say just can't be found. I'll share this love I find with everyone. We'll sing and dance to Mother Nature's songs. This world keeps spinning and there's no time to waste. Well, it all keeps spinning, spinning, round and round and upside down. Who's to say what's impossible and can't be found? I don't want this feeling to go away.
Right on, bro.
That's it. Thanks.
Right on, man. Mahalo.